Congratulations on advancing to the second phase of admissions for the MBA program at SIBM Pune. Welcome to the second episode of our series. In the previous episode, the Aspirant Relations team of SIBM Pune presented some first-hand guidance tips from our current batch of students. In this episode, we have a panel of experts who will be sharing insights on the qualities and skills that they look for in candidates and some tips for the GE-PI-WAT process. So without further ado, let us hear from our expert professors.
Research tells us that your first impression is created in the first 7 seconds when you meet a particular person. Hence, I'm going to give you 5 important tips that will help you to make a very good first impression in your GE-PI-WAT process. Since the GE-PI-WAT process is online, make sure that you use a desktop or a laptop which is fully charged. Number 2, make sure that you have a stable internet connection. Also, make sure that your audio and the visual and the videos are working properly. The third aspect is that of your eye contact. Since this is virtual, this is online, make sure you have a good eye contact. Look into the camera and speak, because it's very important that the panelists know that they are talking to you and you are talking to your panelist. Also, make sure that you're formally dressed. Since this is an important process and one of the deal breakers in your career, it is important that you are dressed formally for this event. The fourth aspect, and this is one of the very important aspects in your GE-PI-WAT process, be candid, be honest, be authentic. I'm sure all of you must have filled up the Snapseed forms. Make sure whatever you have written in your Snapseed forms, you justify that in your interview. Many a times the candidate write many other aspects in the Snapseed form and they are not able to justify it during the interview. So make sure that you justify or you explain whatever you have written in your Snapseed forms in your interview process. The fifth, last, and again one of the most important tips is have a smile on your face during an interview. Do not get tensed. Do not get nervous. Many a times a smile on the candidate's face actually helps the panelists to feel better. So at last, have a smile on your face, and I wish you all the very best for the GE-PI-WAT process at SIBM Pune.
Greetings, friends. Great to address you all again, and it's that time of the year when we are all trying to make a mark for ourselves by way of getting into reputed institutes of management, and I speak for the greatest management institute that could ever be, and that happens to be the Symbiosis Institute of Business Management. What I'm going to tell you in a few minutes from now is what is expected of a candidate when he comes to an institution to sit for a group discussion or a group exercise or a PI at the end of the day. And let me be very candid about a few things. Any candidate worth his salt, with or without work experience, must be aware of what exactly he or she has done in an academic institution if there was no work experience, or at work if he or she did have a couple of years of work experience. Why I say this is because these are the fundamentals, these are the basics that any candidate must know. What did you do in your academics? What are you doing at work? But having said that, my concept of an interview process, my concept of looking at a candidate to select him or her for a 2-year program, intensive program in business management, which will make him or her at the end of 2 years a very worthy member of an organization, thereby not only helping an organization, but in the long run helping the nation. If I need to look at a person of a caliber, other than what he or she has done academically or at work, if after academics some of us do have a little work experience, that goes without saying, that has to be there. But what am I looking at otherwise? I am looking at a person who is a little worldly wise. What do you mean by worldly wise? We are looking for managers to be. Some of you already were managers if you worked. I believe every person worth his or her salt born on this land is a manager because we all know how to manage our own selves. But today we are not only looking at how to manage ourselves, we are looking at how we are going to be managing people in organizations, ladies and gentlemen. So what I look at in a candidate is how does that candidate face up to me? What is his persona like? What is the personality? Does he give me a feeling that I'm looking at the right guy? And what does that mean? It means the way his body language is, the way his demeanor is, that passion on his face, the josh, and that feeling that I need to crack this interview is what I look at. I am very impressed by the first few minutes of a candidate, or I could be extremely depressed in the first few seconds of an interview purely because the body language of the candidate tells me a lot. So when I look at a person, if I have to advise a youngster, I said, be positive, walk tall and erect, smile, enter the room with a feeling of josh, feel that this is the place you have to be in, be aware of what is happening around the world. Believe you me, friends, once you complete a 2-year course in management and join an organization, nobody is really going to ask you how many marks you got in a particular subject when you did a management course. What are they going to ask you? They're going to ask you about worldly news. What is the effect of or the impact on the economy? What is the new wave of Omicron going to do? How is India dealing with China? Is there a problem at the borders? We are looking at that. So I want you people to be worldly aware. So keep a track of current events. Keep a track of general knowledge. I select people more because of the knowledge they have of things other than only academics. Academics cannot go anywhere. Your work experience, if you have any, is going to be a plus point. But what do you know more than this? And more than that, as a soldier, I tell people, it's how you face up to a person, the impact you make. That impact must be impression. You must make an impression, construct the impression before the interview, manage the impression after the interview or during the interview. I wish you well, and I look forward to seeing a lot of you here because I am part and parcel of this wonderful organization. So keep your eyes and ears open. Be inquisitive, be curious. You don't know about certain things, find out from people. Ask people, but come with a clear mind. Wish you well, and look at this fabulous area. I bet you would be dying to get here. Jai Hind.